All right, let's go ahead and make our first API request. So what we need to do is, in our getNewCharacter, not only do we need to set the state, but we need to make an API request over to swappy.dev to get some information. So let's work with this in a very, very simple manner to begin with. Let's go over to swappy.dev, and I'm going to get this API/people/one URL. And I'm going to put this in here as const URL is equal to just that URL. Then we're going to create a fetch API request. So we're going to say fetch that URL using a GET request by default. Then we're going to take that response and we're going to JSONify it, or decode it from JSON, because we know that response is going to be coming from JSON. This is JSON format here. So we want to make sure that response, whatever it is going to be JSON. Then once that is done, we're going to take that data, all that JSON, and we're going to work with it. And we're going to say console.log data. And let's get rid of our first console.log so we don't clutter up our console. Everything looks like it's in order. It compiled perfectly fine. Let's go back to our React app and refresh. And you can see that our stuff loaded first. That's just because it's hard-coded. That's fine. We're not going to worry about that for now. We're going to replace that in just a second. What we wanted to make sure worked was this. In our console, it got all the information, got our birth year, got, who is this? This is Luke Skywalker, got his name, his height, his mass, his hair color, skin color, films, gender, height, homeworld, mass, yada, 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 all sorts of stuff in there. So we now have this data to work with in a object, or in an object in JavaScript. I almost called it a dictionary because I write a lot of Python. Basically same thing. So what we want to do now is we want to take this code, the set state, and we want to move it up into the data here. And we want to set that data to be relevant. So the data name is going to be Luke Skywalker. We get data from here. So this whole object here is going to be called data. That's what we assigned it to here. And then we said the name is going to be right there. We got the name. So data.name. Height is going to be, height is 172. Oh, I guessed right. Let's do data.height. Homeworld. This is going to be a URL. So it's going to be a homeworld. And you can work with this a little bit later. Once you have this project up and running, you can then say, oh, there's a homeworld URL. Let's go ahead and also fetch that data as well. But for now, we're going to keep it simple and say data.homeworld, and it's just going to be a URL. That's fine. And the films, is it called films in here? Yep, films, there's 4 of them. Luke is in film 1, 2, 3, and 6. These are the IDs, not the film order, by the way. So we do data.films. And let's go ahead and test this out. So what this is now going to do is, when I refresh, you don't have to refresh. I like to refresh just as a habit to sort of clean out my console quickly. What this is going to do is I'm going to click this button. It's going to then make a request to swappy.dev, and I'll show you. It's going to show up in our console here. And once that request is done, assuming I don't have any typos, it's going to load the data up here. And it's always going to show Luke Skywalker. There we go. Luke Skywalker, 172 centimeters. Homeworld is planet/1, and he's in films 1, ID of 2, film ID of 3, film ID of 4. These are not the episodes, by the way. This is just a different way of ordering data. So we have that working now. I want you to make sure you have this working the same way I have this working. And in the next lesson, we're going to actually randomize this, because right now, every time I click this, it just loads Luke. And, you know, as great as Luke is, maybe we want to be exposed to someone else, some other characters out there that come from swappy.dev.